Welcome one, welcome all to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops. I am Mike, aka the Donald Trump, and but welcome to the show. We got a cool, super early project on this episode that we'll get to here in a second. And I plan on doing a bit of a deep dive on rwa.xyz. So I want to take you all through some of the cool stuff that I've found on that site, and maybe give you a little bit of insight into what to expect on some of the assets that you hold. As it pertains to the tokenization of real world assets, and maybe possibly make you rethink, kind of your allocation. But of course, that's up to you because none of this is financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. And as far as I know, either is Jeff. So
Nope.
maybe Texas
Not
Jeff.
this Jeff. The other
Yes,
Jeff. Yeah.
Texas Jeff. Yeah. So real quick, before you jump into the socials, Jay, how's it going, brother? Looks like we got Jesse chilling in the chat, and we got Sack Nasty, wrap my DeFi up and suck my liquidity dry, baby, in usual Sack
Yeah.
Nasty fashion. So,
Oh.
if you are watching on any of the accounts on X or anywhere else, Rumble, feel free to jump over onto YouTube. It's where we can see you in the chat. We love to bounce ideas back and forth with you in the chat, and ask any questions that you have of us, or make any comments. Tell us we suck,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
But so with that, go take it away, Jeff.
Well, hope everyone's doing great. Had a wonderful, wonderful birthday week and a fun trip in Austin last weekend. And unfortunately, I did not get picked for Kill Tony. But here's a picture of me and my buddy who lives in Austin, and some of my aunt's coworkers. So there was like 300 comics that signed up.
Oh, damn.
So unfortunately, I did not get picked, but it was still a great time, still a fun trip, and now I just have to go back again and try again. So it was really cool just seeing all the people who I've watched on Kill Tony and stuff. But yeah, I mean, at least I'm prepared. So whenever I do get picked, it'll be a good time.
Very
But
nice.
now that I'm back, ready to rock and roll, and I hope that you all are ready for some alpha, because here at DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, where me and Mike go live every Monday and Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And like he said, if you're on X, check over on YouTube on the chats, because there's a lot of fun stuff, fun talks over there. Now, Mike also goes live here Wednesday and Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific with the DeFi Masterclass with David and Jake Call, and also Money Talks on Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're bringing all the alpha for you, from traditional finance to DeFi to airdrops, just about everything you could want in crypto. Working on a technical analyst to join the group. So if y'all know of any great up and coming TA people, send them our way, because we're looking to grow and expand. And also, you can check us out on Twitter here at the_only_DCA. And we also live stream through all of our channels on here on X, and Vet at Veteran4Crypto, and me at the BCR142. I did change my profile picture because I'm farming this project airdrop. And they also have DeFi, they call them Omni Vaults, where you can earn up to like 8 or 9% APY on stablecoins. So that'll be a project we can dive into in a few weeks.
Is that an astronaut, or is that Cholulu or whatever?
Oh, Cthulhu? No.
Is that Cthulhu?
Yeah, I don't know what, they're pretty badass, but yeah, I don't know what it is. I used some of my old funds from other airdrops to buy, I think it was like a $50 NFT, but you get a certain amount of points for that contribute to whatever their airdrop is. So this will be one I'm farming for a little while, but just in case you guys are wondering, like, oh, where does because a lot of people will change their profile picture and people will think that you're a scammer. So I just
Oh,
want people to know, like, I never changed, I never changed my profile picture, but when I do, I make sure to let people know that no, I'm not. It's not a scammer. It's not a different person. So just a heads up. Also, we have our Discord with a lot of great alpha and vets, awesome tracking sheets in our DCA Discord, and we got a lot of people joining. Man, it's awesome to see the community growing like this.
yeah. Every
Um,
day it seems like we get a couple more.
Yeah, and people sharing their liquidity pools and just asking all kinds of awesome questions. And our Discover Investments group, uh, Discord as well. A lot of great stuff going on in there. Vets doing some live workshops each week. So there is a free section. There's also a paid section where you can get access to people's trading portfolios and uh, trading alerts and all kinds of fun stuff. So lots and lots of stuff for everyone at every price point.
Yes, yes. Free, free, free.
Free, free, free.
Yes. So yeah, no, and definitely make sure you check out Discover Crypto, over in our brother channels, and Blockchain Basement with Drew.
Block.
And
Yes.
then of course, Jeff's personal channel, the Blockchain Report, where he does his own deep dives on airdrops. So
Oh, and
absolutely.
the metrics finance, right?
Oh yeah.
And stuff in
So the
the
links
descriptions.
in the channel description and the episodes. There is a link for 10% off Metrics Finance. On Friday, yesterday, I just did a deep dive with Jake Call, the founder of that project, and it is a
Hmm.
great DeFi tool. So I'm not just saying that because he was on the show. I'm saying it
You were
because
using it before you met him, right?
yeah, no, I personally use it. So it's a
Yeah.
great way to simulate your positions, your DeFi liquidity positions, before you enter the position. So it uses real data, and it will tell you, you put in, how much money that you want to deposit, and what specific liquidity pool, and it will tell you, historically, what it's making now. This is how much you can expect to make, per day, per week, per month over the next, while you're in the pool. So if you haven't, check out that episode. A lot of great information, and it really is a powerful tool. So check that out. And then, of course, David, his DeFi University. Again, we have it in the links. If you are wanting to learn intermediate and advanced DeFi strategies, so if you want to learn about looping, if you want to learn about other strategies to where you can lever up to your risk goes up, but you're able to earn more yield off of the same amount of assets by using some of these advanced strategies. Of course, I'm more conservative. I'm doing kind of lower risk, a lot easier strategies, but by all means, like I said, intermediate, advanced, great resource.
Mm. Yes, yes. Yeah, and thanks for putting that together, reaching out to him and David, and just getting these other experts in the field because they've been doing it a long time, and having that knowledge base where you can pick their brains and ask questions is really beneficial.
So yeah, no, that's we're really trying to get a good group of people. Again, like he was talking about, Taylor and Texas Jeff. Texas Jeff is a licensed financial advisor. Taylor is actually my brother. He does wills and trusts. He's a lawyer, has his own law firm out in Texas. We have
Mhm.
David and Jake Call, who are DeFi experts. Jeff, who does specializes in airdrops. We're looking for somebody that is good at technical analysis to bring into the family. So we're trying to be a one-stop shop for anything that you're interested in. So anyway, let's go ahead and kick it off into the project. We'll talk a bit about this project, and then kind of once we're done with that, again, we'll dive into rwa.xyz and really dissect it and show you how to use it as a tool to almost like a crystal ball to see what projects might you think about investing in, or maybe ones that you thought were going to be a major player in the RWA field aren't growing like other projects are, and you might want to rethink about reallocating some assets or something like that. But I'll kick it over to you,
Hell yeah.
Jeff. I'll handle the
Hell yeah.
chat. I'll handle the chat while you're sharing this.
No, that sounds good. Yeah, I actually just came across this project this week, and it's called Everlyn AI, the fastest video AI model in the world on the first decentralized infrastructure layer for autonomous video. And I was thinking, okay, another AI generation uh, project. They have image where you can put images to video, or text to video, um, or text to image agents. Now, as I'm diving into this, I see that they've raised $15 million, right, from uh, their group of investors, and Aether is one of them as well. Miston Labs, MH Ventures, and angels from Amazon, Kling AI, Google, Meta, Tencent. And the more I dove into this, the team is, I mean, it's pretty wild. So we'll dive into that, but they do have a pretty solid backing, and just look at some of these video generations, right? Oh, as a Mike Block, just look at this blank screen.
It's like, wow.
But I mean, this is pretty good looking AI generation stuff for this being an early project. I'm not
There
sure
was
exactly how long they've been building, but
I actually started digging into the documentation. It wasn't that long ago. It was just last year that they started working together.
oh,
And there's a bunch of people, and we'll get into it, but there's a bunch of
yeah.
like PhD level AI specialists
Hmm.
that are on this project. And also on the website, and I'm sure you'll get to it, there's some people that have been basically making whole movies off of this. So I mean,
Oh yeah.
hour and a half movies, and it's I can't stress it enough. How AI is going to change everything. I mean, imagine kind of the difference between some of you might not be old enough to remember, but like Star Wars, it was before CGI, computer generated graphics. But they did made miniatures of all the spaceships, and they basically just slowed down like explosions and stuff like that, small explosions that they made to make it look like that they were bigger than they were in space. And it was just really innovative. But then you got CGI, and you have stuff like Avatar, where they've done some really cool things. But now you're starting to get AI, where you don't need actors, you don't need voiceovers, you don't need special effects. You just tell an AI a storyline, and basically give it a script, and it will make a whole movie for you. I mean, it's going to change Hollywood. It's going to change how we do everything. Research. I mean, hell, we use it on the show. We use Miles, where any question that we have about projects like this. I mean, it's insane. How quickly that this is evolving. It's almost scary sometimes. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Is my mic working?
Yeah.
Okay, because it just said it was disconnected for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe my
Huh.
computer's glitching out. But yeah, it's really. And I was thinking about this earlier. If you're scared of AI taking over your job, and you don't do anything to change your course, then I don't have anything to say to you other than get on your shit. Make a change. Don't just wait for something to take over your whatever it is you're doing. Pivot to something else if you have to. Don't just fall into this trap where, oh well, I'm not going to do anything. But if you're scared of AI taking your job, you might need to pivot to something else, or figure out another avenue, and
Well,
don't let it.
become the AI subject matter expert at your
Yeah,
work.
be the
Start.
prompt expert.
Yeah, Josh was talking about that over at Discover Crypto the other day.
Mm,
You if you're not learning AI and learning about AI prompts and learning about how to utilize AI in your daily life, not just at your work, but in your daily life, you're falling behind. I mean, that's why I'm
mhm,
learning it is because I want to leverage it. I mean, I'm a one, slash two man show here. It's a
mhm,
force multiplier. Using AI, I'm able to have a multimedia expert. I use it to make our shorts. I use it to do
mhm,
research. Stuff that used to take me hours, if not days, to get ready for a show. I can do in minutes now. I can get bullet points from AI to talk about a project. 30 minutes an hour before we go live. When it comes to our thumbnails that I build for the show, you used to need a graphic designer for stuff like that. I can go on to Canva now. I can generate some images off of Grok or Chat GPT, copy and paste it in there, add me and Jeff to it with some text, and bing, bang, boom, we're ready for a show.
mhm.
It used to take an army of people to do this stuff. I can do it by myself right now. So these are the things that you need to evolve. I mean, it's always been throughout human history. If you don't evolve, you go extinct. You need to have relevant skill sets.
Mhm.
All right. So
Yeah.
what's next? What's next? Get off my soapbox.
So yeah. So they got a whole let's see, where are we at? Oh, let me go up here. We'll kind of go. What do we want to start with? We want to dive into the team. Let's check out the team
Yeah, let's
since
do that.
we got the backing. We know that there's a lot of money in this. So like Mike was saying, they're contributed by a group of generative AI professors and PhD researchers from top institutions around the world. And you can see right here, each one of these, they're doctors and Facebook AI engineering manager for 6 years, a CTO officer at Tencent, TPC, backed by Sequoia, worth over 400 million. Um, Founder of Lino Token, I don't know, early blockchain engineer since 2017. Uh, AI
Holy shit.
researcher, all these people,
Well, this
Cornell
guy,
Tech.
Dr. Chin, uh, I guess he's one of those, innovators, the 35 under 35. Um,
Oh
he's
shit!
from,
Yeah, Stanford PhD.
he went to school at MIT. He's published over 200 AI papers. He's a gold medalist at ACM and IOI. I mean, these are just some freaking top level. This Dr. Serge Belongi, over
Belongi
185,000 citations, professor of AI at Cornell,
at Cornell,
former
former dean of
former
Cornell.
dean at Cornell Tech, co-founder of Anchovy Labs, acquired by Dropbox. So that's a successful company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it looks like another MIT 35 Innovators Award. Yeah, this is just, I mean, this is like a freaking all star team.
Yeah, research scientist at Google DeepMind, Ming Ming Swan Yang, Ming Swan Yang.
I'm not even going to try, man.
Ming Swan Yang. So yeah, this is a powerhouse. And Forbes 30 under 30, Dr. Lee Yuan. He's a professor of AI at Peking. Peking what? Peking
Peking,
duck?
China.
Peking.
Yeah,
I like
Peking duck.
Peking duck.
So I just popped over to Roadmap. So the first milestone on their
Mm,
roadmap was May of 2024. So I mean,
damn, barely a
not
year
too.
old.
Yeah, and it says the founding team of Everlyn comes together to build a new type of video model in the first auto-regressive open source project. So they're not even, a full what? Yeah, so a little bit over a year that they've been, that they since they founded, and already they have a very robust, fully operational AI.
Hmm. Yeah, and then it's that June they formed the team, and then July became the first open source repository where auto regressive video AI model becomes accessible to the world. So Lin Foundation forms to be the entity governing Lin token, which will be the main token powering the Lin ecosystem. And there is no token yet, so that's
Yeah,
and I
it will be called LYN. That will be the ticker. I did look that up,
okay.
and we can here in a minute we can get into the documentation and look at the tokenomics. But go ahead and finish out.
Oh, and just last August, they announced the first video agential platform, or Everworld is announced, populated by agents capable of generating video autonomously. So yeah, I mean, barely a year old, and oh, the DevNet launched in October. So it hasn't even been a full year when the actual product went live. And you remember how long it took GPT or all those AI generating video models to get all the fingers and shit right, or the eating the spaghetti and stuff. I mean, it was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
2 years, right? 3 years, and
It was a while. It was a while, but yeah, this one definitely isn't having those problems.
no, not at all. Um, okay, the testnet went live in Q4. Um, Now let's see, Q1. Oh, it said Q1 that there was the token was supposed to go live, but I don't remember seeing a token at all. So,
I looked. I could not find a token anywhere. It's on CoinGecko. It listed on CoinGecko, but it says that there hasn't been the token generation event.
okay. Yeah. I mean, a lot of, if you work in tech, you know that there's never going to be anything done on time.
Well, the thing is that's not a heavy lift. They my guess
Yeah.
is that they are focusing on the product, and that the token isn't like a high priority, and they probably what and this is just me guessing. I'm guessing that they're waiting for regulation because they don't want a token launch to interfere or overshadow the actual product. So
Yeah.
that's my guess, is that's why they haven't done the token generation event yet.
Interesting take. Pretty, I get aligned with that. Yeah, it's really hard to tell a lot of the times because, man, people will go crazy like, oh, you were supposed to launch the token 3 months ago. But, there's all kinds of shit that goes on in the background that you don't realize. And yeah, regulation is a huge part of that. And especially when you have people like PhD experts in the field contributing, you don't want them to be caught up in some shit and then your product goes to crap because nobody can use it. But um, let's check out. So you were looking in the documentation. Did
Yeah,
you find
yeah.
anything interesting?
So I'm looking at the token overview. So the LYN token is at the foundation of the LYN ecosystem, supporting
Mm-hmm.
activity and transactions for all video agents on the platform. Its native asset, LYN, the token that powers the first decentralized network of video agents. This section details, basically the token. So the purpose of the token is participants in the Lin ecosystem need to be adequately incentivized in order to execute their roles on a long-term basis. And part of this incentive comes from the immediate settlement of their payments for jobs done on the network. A developer, for example, who has built an AAPI that is being used by other video agents expects to receive payment for its usage promptly. Likewise, a video agent owner who has had their agent sell merchandise on their behalf expects to be paid immediately for the product that was sold. Is the token that makes all of this possible. So basically, it sounds like it's a settlement, a settlement layer. So so basically, to use their tech, then you would buy the Lin token and you would basically use it to pay for. the generation of whatever it is that you want created, and that would go
Mm.
to the system, to pay it, and then of course, you would get your product. So it's basically just a for instant settlement.
When you
So it
said
can be. Yep.
to pay for stuff on the like the video,
Hmm.
because there is stuff on here that's actually smart. Instead of you using your USD to, because there is a pricing pay sheet right here
Hmm.
for, you get credits and all kinds of stuff. But
And
I mean,
the
a
credit
hundred
and the
dollars a
credit
month.
will probably end up being the LYN token once it launches.
Yeah. No,
That would
that's
be my
smart.
that. I mean, like I said, I'm
Incorporating.
I'm just guessing. And we can bring Miles up and ask him some of these questions here in a minute. So it
Speaking
looks
of
like
AI.
LYN will be used for governance. So
Mm-hmm.
LYN holders are empowered to play a key role in the governance of the network, voting on both long-term architectural and operational proposals. Access to the Lin DAO for voting privileges is for LYN holders who pass a certain threshold of LYN tokens verified to be held in a connected wallet. It looks like they're going to have staking. I won't read all that, but there's going to be staking, and then LYN at Genesis. So there's going to be a total supply of 1 billion LYN tokens. Each core allocation group is defined in the figure below. So the initial core contributors, 19.8% of tokens will go to them. Early backers and pre seed, you're looking at about another 14.7%. Early backers Series A is a 6.9%. Node rewards emissions is 20%. R&D and
Mm-hmm.
ecosystem is 23.6%, and public allocation is going to be 15%. And so of that 15, it looks like Genesis release and incentives is 8.6%, and network initiatives is 6.4% of that 15. Um, what else we got here? LYN unlocks. Supply is unlocked on numerous different schedules based on allocation group over the course of 3 years from the token generation event. Each allocation group's emissions is independent of others. So the public allocation is fully unlocked at launch. The node rewards emissions unlocks continuously from 6 months to year three. The R&D and ecosystem, 25% is unlocked at launch. Remaining 75% unlocks continuously from year one to year three. Early backers, Series A, 33% unlocked at 6 months. So that means that, like early investors can't dump on launch. The
That's
remaining
good.
67%, yes, that's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Remaining 67% unlocks continuously from 6 months to year 2.5, so 2.5 years. Early backers, pre and seed, is 33% unlocked at 6 months. So it looks like there's quite the cliff at 6 months. The remaining 67% unlocks continuously from 6 months to year 2.5. And initial core contributors, 33% unlocked at year one, remaining 67% unlocks from year one to year three. So it looks like that at launch, none of the early backers, seed or pre seed, is immediately unlocked. And it looks like even the initial core contributors. So it looks like the team and VCs and investors, they have to wait at least 6 months for even a partial unlock. So I'm liking the tokenomics.
Yeah, and I can see both sides of the full unlock allocation for, or what do they call that? The Hyperliquid did, where it's the fair drop where you have it all unlocked, no VCs. Um, what, I forget what they call it, but that's positive. But you don't want
Scroll
the
scroll
VCs.
down a little bit more to the table just below where you're at.
Ah,
There you go. Yeah, blow that up. So this those of you that are more visual like me,
mm-hmm.
this
I
this
like this.
basically this basically shows the unlocks. So 0 is at launch. So there'll be 200 million tokens in circulation at launch. And then you can see, zero point 0.5 is 6 months, one is 1 year, so on and so forth. But this shows, how, each, group of tokens is going to be unlocked over time. And it looks like at year 3, all 1 billion tokens will be in circulation. So sorry, go ahead and finish.
No, no, that's good because I love seeing the charts like this because
Mhm.
yeah, seeing the graphs and shit makes me just my it tickles my brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you do have investors and stuff, you want to see these locked up for 1, 2, 3 years at a time and slowly unlock. Because if you have everyone dumping right at the open, it's not a good look. Oh, and Vincent, this project is I don't I don't remember it being on any chain. Let
Actually, you
me
know
check
what?
this
Let me look on CoinGecko and see if it says. 'Cause that's
because
the
yeah,
only
the
place.
token hasn't launched, but there's oh, and I need to sign in. Yeah, you sign in with your email. It did ask me for my phone number. Um, so if you're comfortable signing up, you do get free credits, like 2 free credits. Um, but we'll dive into that later. Oh, and I was gonna ask. So the 1 billion, but is there any inflation? So this answers my question right here. So it looks like 10% per annum and decreases 10% per year until reaching a perpetual issuance rate of 1%. So the rates are based on the total starting supply of LYN each year.
Doesn't say.
Interesting. Circulating supply. Okay, utility on the network. So central to Lin ecosystem and its platform, the token that powers all inter-agent activity, rewards all task execution, and acts as the main currency within the platform. So you can see here, you got video agents powered by OpenLin, and then your Lin token goes to agent owners, proof of execution, all the fun the fun stuff, destination apps. So there is use case and utility for the token, not just because some projects will just have it for governance and voting, but a lot of people don't really care, and sometimes that can be gamed. So having it being integrated into the utility of the platform itself, and having the agents
Oh,
use it,
check
which I
this
find
out. So, obviously you can stake the token, for governance and voting and stuff like that. But basically, almost like an account for feature access, but also the token for reward sharing. So token holders can also stake LYN on specific agents. So, like, say, like I build an
oh
agent to do something, you can stake your tokens on my agent if you think that it's a really cool agent that a lot of people are going to be using and it's going to be generating a lot of fees and
ooh,
revenue. And so you can stake it on specific agents that they believe will earn the most, earning a share of the agent's future earnings, or
oh
on
shit.
specific AAPIs, receiving a portion of the subscription revenue generated by that particular API. This staking system fosters growth, innovation, and continuous development within the Everworld ecosystem, while also offering financial rewards to participants.
Mm,
So that's kind of cool. So it's almost like you can own, part of an agent. So if you see one that
yeah,
is being heavily used by like a certain institution, like say you look and you see like Disney or something like that is using it
hmm,
to make movies or something. I'm just making some shit up.
yeah,
There's nothing I read that said Disney is part of this. But say that you see that they're using an agent all the time, you could say, all right, well, I'm going to stake my 1,000 LYN tokens on that agent, and anybody that uses that agent, the fees that they pay, almost like a liquidity pool. How you put your liquidity in a
I was
liquidity
just
pool.
gonna say,
And when
yep.
people are swapping, they're paying those
Yep.
fees, you're getting a portion of that. It's very, very similar,
Hmm.
except you don't have divergence loss and then permanent loss.
Permanent
You're
loss. Yep.
staking. So you still hold those assets, and if the value of those assets go up or down, you're getting full price appreciation or depreciation. So
Hmm.
this might be something that I put on my watch list.
Oh yeah, That's some alpha for.
Oh, yeah.
Dang,
But yeah,
that's
Vincent,
awesome.
I haven't seen if this is on ETH or what chain this is on.
Yeah, I because my
Actually, here,
credits. Oh,
hold on. Let's do this.
oh,
I,
Miles.
I, I yeah, I got Miles pulled up. Let's ask Miles. This is a really new project, so he might not do very good.
Hey, nice to connect with you again.
Hey, Miles. Hey, I'm live with Jeff, and we're live on the show, and was wanting to ask you. We're talking about Everlyn AI. It's a very very new project, and the website is Everlyn.ai. Can you see that?
Gotcha. Everlyn.a. Yeah, I see it.
All right.
Looks pretty slick.
So my
Hmm.
question
Let me take a.
is, they haven't released a token yet, but the token ticker is going to be LYN, Lima Yankee November. It hasn't launched yet, but our question is, what blockchain is it going to be built on? Is it going to be built on Ethereum, Solana? What chain?
Okay, good question. Let's see. Digging into Everlyn.ai now. Okay. It looks like they're building on Solana. I'm seeing mentions of Solana's speed and scalability as key reasons for the choice, specifically for handling the AI computations and on chain data. They've got a whole section on their tech stack outlining it.
Where exactly did you find that?
Just on the tech page, it's under the infrastructure section. Just they lay out with how Solana fits into their vision for low latency AI interactions.
Hmm.
I can send you the direct link if that helps.
Yes, if you
Oh, he
It's
can
a
could.
send a
bit
link.
dense though. Sure thing. Here you go. Everlyn.ai, not fucked worth infrastructure. It's right there under the Solana logo. Looks like they're really leaning into the benefits for running AI models on chain.
Can you give me that link again?
My
Hmm.
bad. Sometimes I stumble over myself. So it's Everlyn.ai Tech of Nine infrastructure. Should work that time.
All right.
Everything all right over there? Still with me?
Yeah, I'm
Just
still with
checking.
you.
Sometimes the stream cuts out or. Okay, cool. Just wanted to be sure. Anything else on Everlyn I can dig up?
Hmm.
Yeah, let me turn him off. I'm I
I'm not
typed
seeing
it.
that.
I'm not either. Everlyn.ai /infrastructure.
Yeah, and Vincent B said I asked AI, and they said the chain is under wraps at the moment. So we might not know until closer to token launch. Um, I mean, a
I'm
lot of
certain.
projects have been launching on Ethereum just because of the security, but it's just, oh, they're so one thing about the Ethereum network is they're starting to they're hiding malware in smart contracts and causing people to get drained. Yeah. So there's a big thing going on right now of people getting drained from smart contracts that look like smart contracts, but they have hidden malware and it's like tricking the blockchain. Um, so it's getting really sketchy for
So
so
it looks like I pulled this up, and it looks like Everlyn, it says that it's going to be interoperable. And so it's showing that it's going to work on Ethereum, uh, uh, coins chain, Solana. I can see Avalanche, Cardano,
Hmm.
Polkadot, uh, Cosmos, Tron, Polygon. Yeah, it says chain interoperable across all L1s and L2s.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
take that with a grain of salt, but that's about the closest I got to an answer.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I guess we'll find out. Um, the two. So when I signed up, I got 2 credits, and I guess it costs 2 credits for a 5-second video generation. Um,
You're gonna make a
yeah, you
video?
look. Well, I did. So my history. I forget what I typed something about Amanita muscaria mushroom and reindeer and Santa Claus.
There you go. Looks like
Like
Santa's
it,
gonna have a good
they,
time.
hey, yep. And apparently that's like the the secret uh, backstory with like the whole Santa Claus thing is
Yeah, no, it
it
is.
was he was like a shaman in Norway or like the
Mhm.
yeah, that area, and would come down the chimney and yeah, they use the
He's like
reindeer piss because the
he's like
reindeer would have to eat the. He's
yeah,
like,
he's like tripping balls going down people's chimneys and shit.
so it's pretty interesting. I mean that looks pretty clean for a 5 second
No,
video generation.
yeah,
Oh, and
no.
it came up with a whole prompt. Shit. Okay,
So
but that was
basically,
my
if you
one credit.
there you go. Let's see. Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I would not be surprised if it launched on Solana because I mean, it seems like a lot of AI agents are launching on Base and on Solana.
Oh yeah, here you go. Jesse, I asked Manus, and it also said it's looking like it'll be on Solana. It
Like I
says the
said, that
first AI dex on Solana.
yeah, I would not be surprised if that's the case.
Hey, cheap fees. Hell, beats the hell out of Ethereum. um,
And it also said looking like it's going to be on Solana. So it looks like three different.
am I choppy? I think I'm getting some chop on my
Little,
end.
little bit, not too bad. So
Okay.
basically, my thought process is, like I said, I this is something that I'm not usually super into these AI agents or AI projects. Mamo is about the only AI project that I've invested in, and it's simply because obviously it's a DeFi play. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course there's that one project we did the other day that is supposed to be an AI agent that is going to do all the research for you, but it doesn't have a token. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but this, I could definitely see where this is something to keep an eye on. And specifically for me, it was the fact that I can stake my tokens, on different agents and earn a portion of the fees that it generates.
Yeah.
So like a
Yeah,
residual
that's
income.
for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because do you have any like? Is there a lot of videos that you would make or want to make with this? Because I know there's the you can do an image to video. You can upload an image and change the length, but text to video. But other than that, I personally don't have a need for creating AI videos like this, but that DeFi sort of angle to it is so smart because you're going to have people using all these agents. Well, you look at what is that, Virtuals. Virtuals has the whole list of AI agents and stuff that you can buy the token, but you're just buying that token of the AI agent. You're not staking your token to that agent. And the more
Hmm.
people use it, the more yeah. So that's powerful.
Well,
That's,
and this one doesn't have, as far as I read, I mean, this one doesn't have any kind of DeFi aspect to it. I mean, this is simply video generation. But I actually
mm-hmm,
like that it's specific, for that. And just because I'm not going to use it doesn't mean that there isn't plenty of people that will.
mm-hmm,
Amateur movie makers that don't have Hollywood budgets. You can make short movies using this with minimal expense. So there's a lot of creativity marketing. There's a 5 second, 30 second, 1 minute video if for marketing. So marketing companies could use it. There's a
oh
lot of
yeah,
different people. I mean, influencers. YouTube influencers, social media influencers. People that are just trying to generate quality content. There's a lot of different ways that this tech could be used. Just because I'm not personally, wanting to make videos doesn't mean that I can't profit from it. So
mm-hmm.
that's my 2 cents.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, and that's all I really got on this whole project because it's. I mean, that's a. I didn't realize that the staking on these agents could earn you that stuff. So you teaching me some stuff.
Well, I
I
mean
love
that's
it. I love.
Well, I mean, that's why we're here is, to freaking dig through this stuff in real time, so people can
Mhm,
see how we're doing, doing our research, on these new projects. Because, if we don't just want to spoon feed you information, we want to teach you how to, to teach a man to fish or give a man a fish. Yeah, I mean,
mhm,
like most channels out there, we can just give you fish all the time, but I mean, you're not going to learn anything that way. You're not going to, learn how to find the information for yourself. Um, like I said, I mean, we do this for free. We don't charge anything. We don't have sponsors. We don't, monetize in any way. So, our focus is genuine. Our focus is to teach you how to make smart investments. It's we don't. It's not like a drug where we give you a sample for free to get you hooked and then make you keep coming back. It's I want to teach you how to do DeFi on your own. Jeff wants to teach you how to farm airdrops on your own. We want to teach you how to find the data and the research so you can make smart investments not based off a social media post. Way too many people get into crypto, and myself included. My first investment in crypto was Shiba Inu because I saw a TikTok video saying that Shiba Inu was going to the moon, and I got lucky. They were actually right. I got into Shiba Inu right before it went parabolic at the end of the last bull run. But I just as easily could have gone broke. So, that is why we're here, is to help you avoid the mistakes that many of us made and that, sometimes we continue to make, in crypto and DeFi and investing and, the different things that we do. Simply cashing out, if you're not knowledgeable about how to cash out your earnings, you can be incurring, huge tax liabilities. You need to educate yourself on this stuff so that, you can make smart decisions when you are, investing in crypto, because this really is the Wild West. Legislation is just now being drafted and passed. There is a lot of gray areas. So, you need to stay up to speed on this stuff. And as part of that,
mhm.
let's go through rwa.xyz. So this is a
Yeah.
site that I use on a daily basis. And this has to do with, obviously, the tokenization of real world assets. This is where I go for data. I invest solely off facts, figures, logic, data. I don't allow myself to get emotional about my investing. Just because something looks cool, or they have really good marketing, or it's going viral on social media, I might take advantage of that because I know how crypto is. If something is getting a lot of hype on social media, then there's a good chance that you're going to get a lot of people that FOMO into it. So or swapping USDC or wrapped ETH and that token because of all the hype. There, you might get a couple of thousand percent APR or APY, while the hype is going on. Now, when you want to be looking at the data, because when the volume starts to drop, you probably want to get out of that, because once the hype is over, then the price of that asset's going to go down and it's going to start eating into the yield that you earn. So there's ways that you can profit off other people's emotions. I personally, I should probably do it, but I don't do it. I'm way too focused on a long term, as opposed to short term moves like that, because I'm old. I just like I'm slow, deadly and slow. I'm not I'm not youthful and agile. So
Try.
yeah, yeah. So let's start going through this. So you can see here, currently the total RWA TVL is, we're at 28.24 billion. Every aspect of RWAs is going parabolic. You have private credit, U.S. Treasury debt, so U.S. Treasuries, commodities like gold, silver, oil, things like that. Um, Institutional funds, so like Biddle Fund and things like that, from BlackRock. A lot of the investment companies, they'll come up with funds that are like baskets of assets, and offer those to investors. You have stocks. Ondo, I think it was yesterday or day before, they just went live. They tokenized a bunch of stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. We'll get into that here in a second. Um, Non-governmental debt, corporate bonds, and then actively managed strategies are just some of the categories that are being tokenized right now. So, down the road, you're going to see art. One website just went live this week. They're tokenizing Pokemon cards and trading cards, where you can buy the tokenized version of, say, like a Michael Jordan rookie card, and that physical card, you own it, but it's in a safe or a vault somewhere, protected. But you have a digital representation. So instead of having that card in your home safe where somebody can steal it, or your kids can ruin it, or a house fire can destroy it, or something like that, it's somewhere safe, but you have the NFT, or the tokenized version of it, that you can take out a loan against it. You can sell it. You can do what everything that you can do plus some. If you had the actual card, but you don't need to have the actual card. If you want to go and take possession of the physical card, you can, but I'm pretty sure that at that point you would lose the tokenized version. Um, just potentially, because you could sell the tokenized version but keep the physical version. So I'm not quite sure how all that will work, but it opens up a world of possibilities. Fractional ownership, for fine art, those art pieces that go for hundreds of millions of dollars. You can buy $1,000 worth of the Mona Lisa, or something along those lines. And then if it's ever sold, then you own a portion, a percentage of that piece of art, and whatever it sells for, you get that portion. Same thing with real estate. So that's what RWAs are. Now, on this site, you have news. So of course, I'm not going to go through all of it, but you can scroll down, and anything that jumps out at you. Largest Russian bank set to launch Bitcoin and Ethereum crypto derivatives. So basically, you can go through here and maybe find a little Easter egg, or a little something that nobody else is noticing, that is going to give you a leg up. on potentially an investment like Ondo or something like that.
Hmm.
Stable coins. Well, actually, you know what? Let's look at invest. That's new. So I guess
Stabilis.
there's a what's that?
Stabilis. Stabilis coin.
Yes. So you have the invest tab. So like I was talking about, BlackRock's Biddle Fund. You can submit interest in investing in this. The Paxos Gold, tokenized gold. The Ondo dollar yield. So this is Ondo's stablecoin. So I think it's USDY is what it is. You have the Janice Henderson Treasury Fund. So basically, just all these different things. This one here, Nest Alpha Vault. This is one on Plume. You'll see Plume pop up quite a bit. The Nest Treasury Vault, Plume. There's a lot. Or right here, Superstate Crypto Carry Fund, Plume. Plume is growing. It's one I'm really glad that Jeff got me in on because it's no matter what the price does, I just keep seeing it popping up, more and more in the RWA and DeFi fields. Stable coins. All right. So you can see that stablecoin growth is, pretty much on everything's going parabolic. USDT, USDC, USD1, that's World Liberty Fi's stablecoin. You got Etna or Athena's stable coin. You got GHO, PYUSD is PayPal's stable coin. So you can see anytime, especially if it's in line with US regulation, a stable coin can't be minted unless it's backed by a US dollar or US dollar equivalents, like a US Treasury. So whenever you see, like I know USD is one of them. Anytime that you see USD going up, its TVL going up, that means that actual value, US dollars, is being injected into that asset. And historically, when you see stable coins going parabolic like this, it's preparing for the liquidity to be injected into the markets. So you have to have stable coins to enable people buying different assets. If you want to buy Bitcoin, if you want to buy Ethereum, if you want to buy Plume, whatever, you're going to need to use stables to do that. It's the way that you onboard fiat currencies into the digital markets. So that's very good information to have. If you see that liquidity or TVL is dipping down, that means that people are offboarding fiat, into fiat. Basically they're cashing out USDC and USDT and other stable coins into fiat currencies or into out of the digital markets. So it's something to keep an eye on. All right. So US Treasuries. you know, I won't get in too deep into it, but this basically just shows the different treasury products. So the Biddle Fund, all the different T bills, all the different companies and people that are tokenizing U.S. Treasuries. This is their growth. So won't get too deep into that. Global bonds.
Beautiful charts.
What's
Those
that?
graphs are nice. Those graphs are really nice. I mean, you show it's a nice trend up for all of them.
Exactly, exactly, and that is why I'm still very bullish on these markets. A lot of people will look at price and how beat up we are on prices, and they're getting fudded out. They're getting fudded out of their assets and selling at lower prices, where these companies are buying those assets up because they are onboarding value onto these chains. And here in a second I'll show you what networks are getting the most growth, and you might be surprised. Private credit, which is the biggest piece of the pie. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is insane. Centrifuge.
Damn.
If you don't have exposure to centrifuge, you know, private credit, if you go back to here, private credit is is like more than half of the overall RWA market. I mean, it is a massive, massive part of the RWA market. And look at how much of that is centrifuge.
Whew.
So I think centrifuge is, here's some potential alpha for you. Do your own research, but let's actually take a look at centrifuge real quick and see where it's at. Yeah,
Whew.
there's plenty of room for growth. Yeah, look at that.
Holy
So
crap.
it is beat down,
Damn.
but you go over to centrifuge or you go over to rwa.xyz and look at freaking, this. I mean, it's just going freaking parabolic.
Man, that's the thing between price and real activity. Don't fucking look at the price and all that bullshit, the noise, that it doesn't always reflect what's actually being built and going on. No, that's awesome to bring
Absolutely.
that up. Yeah.
And then you got Pax G. That's tokenized gold. If or yeah, if I'm not mistaken. So you have
Yeah.
this is the market cap. Here's the transfer volume. Look at those volumes. Ethereum, it's all on Ethereum. It's
Shit.
love it or hate it, Ethereum is the chain. With
Hmm.
mainnet and layer twos. Base, Plume are both layer twos on Ethereum. There's a bunch of other ones. Love it or hate it, Ethereum is here to stay for at least for the short term. Active addresses. Here's institutional funds. I mean, hell, look at that. Whatever this JAA is,
Damn. Well,
that
I
thing
mean,
is going.
even TJ at Discover Crypto was saying how he thinks Aave will be the bank, like the banking institution for the blockchain on Ethereum. And I agree. I thought that a while back as well, because you're gonna have all these institutions coming on. They want to use Ethereum because it's safe, secure, or it's supposed to be safe and secure, minus all the malware shit. But Aave they're positioned in a great spot to be the big bank or institution of the blockchain. So that'll be really interesting.
The only thing that I would push back on is that Aave. It seems like Aave it isn't getting the growth that
Hmm.
some up and comers are getting. Like Morpho.
Okay,
It's so right here.
that's a good point. Yeah,
It's I mean not to
it could be like
fade.
the Yahoo.
Well, and not to fade it, but you look at it, and I mean it's a beast. I mean, don't get me wrong, Aave is the number one DeFi platform. And not just for lending, just in general when it comes to TVL. I mean, it's $40 billion of TVL. I mean, that's no small thing. Don't get me wrong, but you go and you look at something like let's look at Morpho. So Morpho, it is currently at 8
Hmm.
billion. And how long has Morpho been out?
Uh,
Nowhere
Maybe a
near as
year.
long as Aave.
Fuck no.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, look at this.
Damn.
I mean,
Whew.
when it came out in December, there was a lot more token volume. It's been relatively quiet. So let's bring up price.
Holy shit. It really took off. Well, and
So
Mamo's using it, so you got a lot of action there.
Well, no, that's Moonwell.
Or
And then
Moonwell, sorry.
Morpho is what Coinbase is using for Bitcoin loans. So that's
Oh,
facilitating the Bitcoin loans on Coinbase. So pretty much, I mean, you have to look at maybe institutionally, Aave might do better, but retail wise, because of what Coinbase and the Coinbase app are doing, I think for retail, I I personally think do your own research, but I personally think because of the ease of access to DeFi for retail is going to be a
mm,
lot more appealing through Coinbase and the new Base app once it goes live. Aave, until they, and I'm sure they will eventually, but until they figure out a way to simplify and remove some of those barriers to entry for retail, I think they're going to lag on the retail side. Institutionally, they'll probably do just fine. But again, I think on the retail side, I think base plays are gonna reign supreme when it comes to retail. Aerodrome, another one. Liquidity pools and a lot of tokenized, a lot of these recent tokenized assets that are going to be offered on Coinbase are going to be through Aerodrome. So
okay.
Aerodrome is getting positioned. It's 60% of all of the volume on the base chain. So, these are all
Oh, so,
data you need to be aware of and pay attention to, when you're looking at potential investments. Do not hyper focus on price. Case in point, Aerodrome. We've been talking about it since before it pumped the first time and went up to $2.20. It took a dump all the way down to 30 cents. And everybody was saying, Aerodrome's done, Aerodrome's over. In our community, we were earning and stacking. We were buying more. And it's gone up where like $1.18 or $1.15 right now. And I mean it's recovering. And we're rubbing our hands together because we were stacking the whole way down while it was down and the whole way back up because we're earning in DeFi. You need to, Black just, started, showing some signs of life again. It did the same thing.
mm,
It launched, it was like a dollar something. It dumped down into like I think 30-cent range or 20-cent range, something like that. I've
mm-hmm.
been stacking it. And if it goes back to where it was at, it's another one. It will be another one of my little success stories where I put $800 in and turned it into $5,000 or $6,000.
Mm-hmm.
So data. The reason I went on that rabbit trail and down that rabbit hole was to stress the importance of focusing on data. Where is value being, where's TVL? TVL is liquidity. Where is the liquidity going? Where is the volume at? Where is the interest? That is going to tell you more than the price. Price can be manipulated. If you've been in crypto for more than a week, you've watched these markets get manipulated. Every time we're about to pump, some whale dumps Bitcoin or something to drive the markets back down because they know that retail is emotional. So, you know,
Real quick with the Aave. So the project I brought up earlier, Noya, that I'm farming. Real
yeah.
quick. So they're Omni vaults, right? These are their Omni vaults. There's 3 Aave and 4 Morpho. So they have Morpho ETH, Morpho USD looping, Morpho ETH looping, and Morpho USD. And you can earn up to like 8.5% on the stables. So yeah, it's like an AI vault that does it for you. So yeah, just a little tease. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, retail. That's a good point. Retail being using these other DeFi protocols like Morpho and Moonwell and stuff, and then Aave just being the institutional grade side of it. So yeah, there's room for everyone. It's just what are you gonna what area are you going to carve out your niche in? So, no, great point, Mike. Great point.
Appreciate it. So this is the next tab. So on rwa.xyz, here's networks. So this is the TVL for each of these networks. Obviously, Ethereum is the 800-pound gorilla. Then you got, surprisingly, ZK Sync is the next one
Oh,
that no one ever talks about.
wow.
Polygon is in third place. Again, one that a lot of people are counting out. Aptos, Stellar XLM. Who would have
Damn.
thunk? BNB Chain, Arbitrum, Avalanche. You haven't heard a whole lot about Avalanche, but they're in the running in here. Solana,
Hmm.
not surprising. Mantle, Algorand. People have been saying Algorand's dead. You have the XRP ledger here. As far as tokenization. And then here you got my boy Plume. Plume is, I honestly believe it's only been out since June. So you got part of June. So like, basically June 15th. So July, August, September. You have 3 months that Plume has been out, and it's almost in the top 10. I mean, it's already, over Optimism, SWE, Near, XDC, Mantra. It's already over a lot of these. So, I mean,
Damn.
and if you go on the Plume portal, you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, and if you look at some, let's actually look at platforms real quick. So here's Securitize. That's the one that BlackRock has been investing heavily in. Tradable again, Centrifuge, Paxos, Tether Holdings, Wisdom Tree, Ondo. Ondo's another favorite of ours. You got Pax, Circle, Superstate. So this is the kind of thing that I'm always looking at. But in the market overview, I want to draw your attention to somewhere. So of course, you can look at the top transfers. So basically, where's the money moving? So you can look, from $0 to $100,000, transfers. It looks like Solana and Ethereum are, pretty much got that swallowed up. 100,000 to 1 million, nothing but Ethereum. 1 million to 10 million, all Ethereum. And it looks like I need a membership for that one. So pretty much everything right now is flowing into Ethereum and a little bit of Solana. You come down here, you can sort it by RWA count. By RWA count, obviously Ethereum in first, Polygon in second, Arbitrum in third, Base in fourth, and Plume in fifth. Over Solana, over ZK Sync, over Avalanche, Stellar, all of them. Total value, TVL. It changes things up a bit. Of course, Ethereum's at top, and I already kind of went over that in that last chart. You can do it by growth. Avalanche has grown 85% in the past 35 days as far as RWAs. Might be
Damn.
might be a way to front run because Avalanche price wise hasn't really moved a whole lot yet. So
Hmm.
potentially, not guaranteed, but potentially, if Avalanche keeps up this momentum of growth in the RWA field, might be something to get a little, exposure to if you don't already, or up your exposure to Avalanche if you're bullish on RWAs. Just might be something to think about.
Mm.
BNB chain has grown 36%, almost 37. Stellar 12%, Ethereum 12%, Mantle 6%, on down the line. But you have to also look at market share. In the past 30 days, Ethereum has grown 3.74% in the past 30 days. They currently hold 52.5% of the market. So again, just really good data points to look at. These different funds, you can look at and you can say, all right, holy crap. So this iShares Core S&P 500 ETF. This is one of those Ondo tokenization that just launched yesterday or the day before. The growth on it, 200 over 200 million% growth in 7 days. This
Jesus.
is $4.5 million. This is just getting started. But Ondo, this is why I am invested in Ondo. This is value or TVL being onboarded onto Ondo, and and as a result, obviously because Ondo's on Ethereum, onto Ethereum. You can scroll down. Let's see if there's anything other than Ondo right now. But this is all.
Oh,
But
jeez.
yeah, this is. I mean, if you don't have
Let's see if
exposure to
there's anything
Ondo,
else. Nope.
yeah, I mean, this is all tokenized. The New York Stock Exchange, Ondo tokenized a
Shit.
bunch of stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. Goldman Sachs. This is their stock. Uber, Figma, ServiceNow, Accenture, Intel, Supermacro Computer, Taiwan Semiconductor. Just Shopify. These are all stocks that have been tokenized. IBM, Netflix, Apollo, Global Management, GameStop. What else? Robinhood, Disney, Coinbase,
Damn. Oh,
Coin.
what's that long name right there? The
Which
the protocol, the first one that showed up other than Ondo.
Fidelity Investments.
Oh, Fidelity. Okay.
That's just they probably tokenized their own. It's a U.S. Treasury.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Denari. So it looks like I've never looked at Denari, but it looks like that they tokenized some stuff. Backed Finance, never heard of it. Midas, I've seen that. Yeah, it's Backed Finance isn't doing too bad either, but nowhere near. And that could just be just because Ondo just started. But again, this is why you need to bookmark these tools, like DeFi Llama for DeFi
Hmm.
and RWA.xyz for tokenized assets. This is going to give you informed, information to inform you on how to make smart investments, not just go off of what's loudest. If you chase whatever is loudest, you are being manipulated. That is what the big money wants to do, is they want you to invest in things that they are wanting to sell. They want you to get out of things that they want to buy, because if they can manipulate you out of your holdings and get everybody to start selling something and drive the price down, they can buy at a much lower price. You need to remove emotion from your investing. That's one of the reasons why recently I started doing a little bit of the clickbait thumbnails to try to show people how easy it is to manipulate people. And not that I'm trying to manipulate you, but throw some fire, and somebody with an uh-oh face on a thumbnail, and everybody starts clicking on it. It's that is what
Hmm.
that's what institutions do. They use the news, they use social media. Me personally, I have no evidence to support it, but I am starting to really think that a lot of, and I'm not going to name any, but because I don't have any proof, but some of the more popular influencers for certain projects, I think they're being incentivized by certain projects to hype up those projects so that certain institutions can sell their tokens for a higher valuation.
Mm.
And again,
Yeah.
this is just my thoughts, just because all the data that I look at, where those institutions, because everything's on chain, I look and those institutions are selling while all of those influencers are telling people to buy. Coinbase, one of the projects that I'm talking about, that I'm always trying to warn people about. Not saying don't invest in it, but I'm just saying make sure you do your own research and don't invest too heavily. Is XRP? Um, what's his name? Chris Larson has been dumping tens and hundreds of millions of XRP onto the market. Coinbase has sold 70% of their XRP. Large institutions are dumping XRP. You can talk about potential, ETFs and all that all you want. And all these people that are claiming that BlackRock is buying XRP. I spent hours today digging, using AI and using all kinds of different tools to see if BlackRock or any major institutions were trying to corner the market on XRP, like some people claim. It is not the case. By regulation, they have to be fully transparent about their holdings. They have to release quarterly reports to the SEC. They own Bitcoin. They own Ethereum. They own MicroStrategy. They own some Circle. Like the actual invest in the stock. But they do not own any XRP. So,
Interesting.
all right,
That's
let's
good
go
to
through the
know.
chat and see who we got. If anybody got any questions,
I think
let's.
I think we hit most of them except for Stan's. Um,
Stan always has good ones.
yeah. Any updates on Almanac?
He keeps asking that, but I don't have any. Do you?
So I was just looking, and yesterday they have a post. Let me share this tab real quick. And yeah, so someone shared an article, the Almanac investment case, revenue and token buy pressure projections. Looks like they crossed 40 million in TVL. Curve LP now incentivized with points, and next new big integration coming likely next week. Starts with P. So whatever that is. They have new incentives, LP, ALUSD, USDC on Curve Finance. So yeah, they got stuff coming. I haven't been on top of it, but yeah, it looks like they've got some stuff cooking. Got some stuff cooking.
Oh, here we go. So here you go, a little something for you Solana lovers. It looks like Salesforce stock got tokenized on Solana. Walmart, CrowdStrike, Visa stock got tokenized on Solana. So it looks like Solana is starting to get some RWA love. A little bit of Avalanche, a little bit of Arbitrum. What else we got going on? There you go. Here's my boy Plume. A little super state action. Some more Plume. Yeah. Okay. Here's some Polygon. Looks like whatever Swarm Tesla is. So it must be a Tesla stock that was tokenized by Swarm on Polygon. Looks like Apple on Polygon. So it looks like there's a
Damn.
couple of and the further down you go, you start getting into a bunch of different chains. You got Wisdom Tree on base, a little bit of Optimism, Blast. That's new. That's something I need to start looking into. A lot of Blast actually when you start getting down here.
Interesting.
I know nothing about Blast. So yeah, it looks like Ondo's yield bearing stablecoin is on Aptos, Arbitrum, Ethereum, Mantra, Mantle, Noble, Solana, and Sui. So if you don't know, this is a yield bearing stablecoin. So you can get Ondo's stablecoin and basically just for holding it earn yield. What else? What else? I think that's about it. I just wanted to go through all this and show people the free. I mean, I don't have a membership or anything to DeFi Llama or RWA.xyz. You can buy upgrades to get more data, but there's plenty of free data that you can use to make smart, well thought out investments, and not just rely on even people like us.
Mm-hmm.
Don't rely on simply what you hear and what you're spoon fed by influencers, or social media posts. Make sure you're doing your own research. By all means, watch your favorite shows and stuff like that. Maybe get pointed in the right direction. But before you actually deploy your liquidity or deploy your assets, do make sure you do your due diligence. Because I can tell you everything that's great that's going on with the project and get you to FOMO into it. But am I giving you the whole story? Do I even know the whole story? That's a lot of confidence to put into somebody that you don't know. For all you know, we're getting paid by, Ondo to talk about Ondo, even though we're saying that we're not. You don't know us, as much as you listen to us. It doesn't mean you know us.
Mm-hmm.
It's you have to be a mature investor. Um, so anyway, I'll get off my soapbox on that. I just really want people to be successful. I want you to make money this bull cycle. I want you to make those life-changing gains that potentially is going to change you and your family's life. Because I personally don't think that the earning potential in crypto, like that we're experiencing or that we've experienced in the past and we're hoping is going to happen soon, I don't think it's going to last forever. I think it's going to get to a point to where all this liquidity is going to flood in from these institutions, and if everything's going to pump, and then we're just going to plateau, and we're going to turn into the stock market to where
Mm-hmm.
liquidity might flow out a little bit depending on macroeconomics and all that, and it might flow in, it might flow out, it might flow in, but this parabolic inflow of liquidity that we're seeing right now from institutions because of legislation being passed, and the guidelines or the guardrails is being set, that is allowing that liquidity. Up until now, it's just been retail, it's been degens like us. Now you're getting that institutional money, that billions and trillions of dollars that's flowing into these markets. Now is the time to buckle up, to make sure you're in those projects that these institutions are injecting liquidity into. You don't want to be, investing in some obscure, project that no one is using. You even though Ondo is a high market cap, they are just starting to inject liquidity into it, value. So again, I mean, I can go on and on about this forever, but you know, please just make sure that you are making smart choices.
Yes. Now use these tools, RWA, that website. I mean, you can look at price all day and get shaken out of your bags, but you look at the raw data and what's going on, and that should give you a lot more conviction than just seeing the price, because they'll fucking dump the price on your ass quick and scoop up all your fucking bags. So
Mm-hmm.
don't be that fool, and just
I pity the fool.
take what you I pity the fool.
Yeah.
Take what you learn from here and take that and use it in your own research and dig yourself, because you do need to be a smart, savvy investor and do a lot of the work yourself, but learn from others, but don't just take all of us and everybody that you see in crypto Twitter or crypto YouTube as the gospel. You know, say, oh, okay, let me dig it. Yeah, I pity the
I pee.
fool,
Ooh,
Mr. T.
that's
God.
right.
But yeah, take this shit into your own hands. Don't just rely on everybody else. Like Mike said earlier, we want to teach you how to fish, not just give you fish all day. Because then if we're not around, you're gonna be fucked, dude. But what do I don't know what to do. Help me, help me, help me, DCA. What do I do?
Yeah, yeah. No, but I mean that's just a smart way to be. It's
Yeah.
you want to be self-sufficient in your investing. I mean, it's why I homestead. I don't want to rely on the government or the food, the infrastructure, the grocery store. If trucks stop rolling and grocery stores stop getting resupplied, I know I have food for me and my family. Water. I have a well. I'm not attached to city water. I will always have
Mm,
water. Power. I'm in the middle of doing a mini hydroelectric plant, so that even if the power grid goes down, I still have power. And I'll have internet and refrigeration and lights and all that stuff. I don't like relying on anybody for anything, because if you rely on somebody, like if you're on public assistance from the government, they can cut that off at any time.
mhm,
It's the power. If the grid goes down, you're done. You're without power. The grocery stores, whatever. You should always be seeking to be self-sufficient, either learning skills to be self-sufficient. If it's investing, if it's growing food, if it's hunting, fishing, building, fabrication, whatever it is, marksmanship, learning to be proficient with firearms, whatever. You should always be seeking to improve yourself. Always be learning, always be evolving, always making a better version of yourself. Physically, mentally, whatever. That is what every man, every person, but definitely every man. And if you are responsible for a family, you definitely should be doing it, because it's your responsibility as a man to make sure they're provided for. Don't
mhm,
be that guy that's, fist fighting people for toilet paper in Costco. Be the guy that, has what you need, at the house, that you
mhm,
have at least a week's worth of food and water, and medications if you require medications, whatever. Make sure you know how to defend your family. you know and that's something that we could probably talk a little bit more about on the show sometimes. Maybe have like a show dedicated to health, because I know you're big into fitness and and eating clean and stuff, and I am as well. Maybe we can do a show. I know we talked about making either the Monday show or the Saturday show, something different. Maybe we can make one of the shows that.
hmm. No, that would be great. Yeah, yeah, because that's extremely beneficial. I mean, if there's some stuff that we can learn from each other and gain off of that, because I was just saying this to someone earlier on Twitter. Life's uh, way more than just crypto
Oh yeah,
and all this shit. So if there's stuff that we can gain from each other and learn, especially stuff like that, being self sufficient and getting your stuff in order in case anything happens, um, would be awesome.
absolutely.
Oh, it looks like Stan Hylion has an amazing off the grid system.
I'll have to check that
That's good to
out.
know. Yeah, thanks, Stan.
Well, do you got? Actually, I'll look that up really quick. Do you want to give your closing thoughts, and I'll look up Hylion?
Oh, I mean, you said it best, man. Just take the power into your own hands as much as possible. Whether it's finance, health, uh, growing your own food, whatever it is, you want to rely on as little or as few amount of people as possible. And just, yeah, because we've seen that a lot of people in power don't really care about the regular people. So, ooh, that's a nice clean.
I'm just trying to figure out. Oh, here we go. Technology. That's how it's producing. Like, what the hell is it? Like, how does it?
Whoa.
What is it? How is it generating power? I mean, like, is it hydrogen or like, what the hell? Oh, here we go. A linear generator that turns heat into electricity using a flameless, low temperature oxidation process. The system is designed to deliver ultra low to zero emissions without the need for additional emission treatments. Each 200 kilowatt linear generator features four synchronized shafts working together to drive a thermodynamic cycle that uses heat to power a linear piston movement. These movements generate electricity as the shaft, featuring a magnet array, moves through the static copper coils at a high frequency. Interesting.
Damn. That
Well, let's
looks
watch
badass.
this. That's freaking huge, though.
Introducing the Hyliion Carno
Well,
generator,
I don't want to play
an
that in case
innovative
we get like a strike, but
Oh, yeah.
it looks kind of, yeah. It's pretty fucking big. I don't know. I don't know if
Oh,
it's something like I don't know if it's something like for a house, but it's definitely cool. So I guess like really quick, maybe I'll show you the one that I'm looking to use.
damn. That's really cool.
So where is it at? It's a guy in Canada that makes them, but basically it's like this. So this is the turbine, and you have water, water lines that go into here, and then there's a reducer. So hydraulics will make the pressure more, and then each one of these has a water jet, and it just spins the shit out of the turbine, and it
Mm.
generates. Here's a diagram that kind of shows it. Security check, really? All right. Look at an image. I got a
Are,
security
are you a
check.
bot?
I guess. All right. So basically, this is the hydro turbine, and so then it not to get too technical, but it goes through the rectifier. It goes through. It has a DC disconnect because this is alternating current is what this generates, and then the diversion load is where it dumps excess any power like after the system is charged, so it doesn't overcharge and like blow up your batteries. It has to have a dump. So basically, this is will either that or it will signal it to turn off the water flow so it stops generating power. Then you have an inverter that inverts it from AC DC to AC, and then I guess they have a meter on there, and then you have the AC disconnect. So basically, like a circuit breaker, and then that goes into your AC service panel. So this is like your full panel,
Mm.
and that powers your house. But of course, in there, you'd want to have your battery bank because basically what this is doing, you don't want to necessarily run straight off uh, your hydroelectric because you might get fluctuations that is going to be hard on your electronic devices. So basically you have this uh, charge your battery bank, and you have your house and everything run off that battery bank. But
God, that's
it,
cool.
Anyway, yeah, because I have a natural spring that's up the mountain on my property, and so basically I'll use gravity to pressurize the water. So it's called head. So basically the more elevation, the more pressure you can generate, and and spin the turbine faster. So anyway,
Hell yeah.
something cool I'm working on,
Nice. Love to see it.
but. Well, all right, brother. I think
Yeah.
that's about it. I mean, we've almost gone 2 hours, so let's
Ooh.
go ahead and hop off, get
Hell
some
yeah.
dinner.
No, we appreciate you all.
So, all right. Well, until next
Yeah.
time, Veteran Crypto out.
Later.